Netflix's German thriller Exterritorial centers around Sarah, a devoted mother and former soldier, who faces a terrifying ordeal when her son Joshua vanishes under mysterious circumstances. Haunted by PTSD from her military service, Sarah has struggled to reintegrate into civilian life. Despite the mental challenges, she has fought hard for the sake of her only child. Sarah's late husband, an American she met during her deployment in Afghanistan, died in a violent ambush. Joshua never got the chance to meet his father. When life in Germany became overwhelming, Sarah decided it was time to relocate to the United States. She was offered a lucrative security position and wanted Joshua to experience his father's homeland. With plans in motion, the only step left was securing a visa. However, everything took a nightmarish turn the moment she stepped into the U.S. Consulate General. Shortly after arriving, Sarah allowed Joshua to play in the children's area of the consulate for just a few minutes. But when she returned, he was gone. Her search turned into panic as she ran through the facility, pleading with security to help. Yet the officials, particularly the regional security officer Eric Kinch, showed no signs of urgency. Eric began to imply that Sarah might be hallucinating or mentally unwell, suggesting she had come to the consulate alone. He tried to convince her that her memory was deceiving her, but Sarah held firm. She knew her son had been with her, and no psychological manipulation could make her believe otherwise. She began to suspect that Joshua had either been smuggled out of the building or abducted. A man carrying a suspicious duffel bag caught her attention earlier, and she became convinced it was tied to her son's disappearance. Sarah managed to escape from the room where they had confined her, aware that once she left the building, she'd never be allowed back in. Determined to keep searching, she encountered a woman named Irina, who was secretly being held within the consulate. Irina agreed to help Sarah find her way through the labyrinthine facility in exchange for help escaping herself. While navigating the consulate's corridors, Sarah found the same duffel bag she had seen before. Inside, she discovered. This discovery led her to believe that Joshua's kidnapping was somehow related to a narcotics operation, but she couldn't yet piece everything together. Eric's men soon recaptured Sarah. This time, Consul General Deborah Allen attempted to convince her that she was suffering from mental delusions. They even showed her surveillance footage that appeared to show she entered the building alone. For the first time, Sarah began to doubt herself. But Irina, whose real name was revealed to be Kira Walawa, reappeared and explained everything. Kira came from a powerful Belarusian family. Her father, after becoming entangled in money laundering and switching political sides, was assassinated. Kira escaped to the U.S. Embassy in Minsk to avoid being the next target. She possessed a thumb drive containing incriminating evidence, which made her a high-value target. Rather than being granted asylum in the U.S., she was rerouted to Frankfurt and stranded in the consulate for months. Kira realized the people meant to protect her had no intention of helping her. Kira suspected Sergeant Donovan, Eric's trusted subordinate, was aiding her enemies. Just days before the attack on her, he had asked for her passport under a false pretense. She urged Sarah not to give up on her son and came up with a plan. They would use the duffel bag as bait. Kira posted a message on the consulate's internal network, and as expected, someone responded. The man who showed interest turned out to be a tech employee with side hustles. When Sarah confronted him, he initially pretended to know Joshua's whereabouts. But Sarah, a trained soldier, quickly sensed he was lying. Still, she realized he could help. In return for the bag, she asked him to create an all-access keycard and provide blueprints of the building. Though reluctant, he complied. From this interaction, Sarah learned something crucial. Her son's disappearance was not linked to the drug operation. The real reason lay deeper. When she and Kira gained access to Donovan's office and searched his computer, they discovered that the job offer emails Sarah had received from a supposed U.S. security firm were actually sent by Donovan himself. This confirmed that Sarah had been lured deliberately. But why? She then began looking into Eric's past and discovered that he too had served in Afghanistan and later worked in Islamabad, Pakistan. Sarah suddenly recalled an investigative journalist who had contacted her earlier that day. He had sent a video related to her and her husband's deployment. In the video, a man could be seen, and Sarah recognized him instantly. It was Eric Kinch. Sarah reached out to the journalist and shared her findings. He confirmed that Eric had a history of being linked to corruption and had even faced allegations of leaking military intelligence to the Taliban. The journalist had reached out to Sarah because she was the only survivor of an ambush and could identify the man in the footage. The man Eric was seen speaking to was a Taliban militant, validating the journalist's claim. Eric had orchestrated the entire situation to silence Sarah. He feared being exposed and imprisoned. She also realized that Kira's life was in grave danger. To protect her, Sarah helped Kira hide inside a departing consulate truck and instructed her to take a train to France, then fly to Mexico to eventually reach the US safely. After ensuring Kira's escape, Sarah confronted Eric directly. She demanded to know why he had betrayed them in Afghanistan. Eric shifted the blame onto the journalist, claiming the pressure from the investigation forced him to act. But it was clear he had no intention of returning Joshua. Out of options, Sarah took a drastic step. She kidnapped Eric's daughter, Aylin. Earlier, she had taken the girl's toy recorder from the cafeteria to prove she had been sent by her father. Aylin trusted her, and Sarah locked them both in a room, refusing to leave until Eric handed over Joshua. Deborah, alarmed by the situation, demanded that Eric follow protocol. He feigned innocence, relying on the assumption that Sarah wouldn't harm his daughter. Sarah cut off the air conditioning to add pressure, but relented when she saw Aylin suffering. She released the girl, but demanded a private conversation with Eric. Sarah was willing to take her own life if Eric would promise to ensure Joshua's safety. Eric cut the audio feed to prevent Deborah from hearing the truth. She remained under the impression that Sarah was mentally unstable. But Sarah demanded answers before he killed her. Eric confessed that he had heard she was a strong woman, but he had taken the risk anyway. He admitted that everything unraveled the moment Sarah witnessed the suspicious bag handoff. When she crossed paths with Kira, his plan began to collapse. Sarah's skill in defeating two professional killers had thrown him completely off course. As it turned out, Eric had accepted payment from those trying to kidnap Kira and obtain the thumb drive. He had devised two plans simultaneously, organizing Kira's abduction while using Sarah's arrival as a distraction. By discrediting her mentally and kidnapping her son, he created a narrative that made her seem unstable. He even erased all traces of Joshua from security footage. That way, when Kira vanished, Sarah would appear to be the culprit. This manipulation would allow Eric to eliminate Sarah, the only person who could expose his ties to the Taliban. But Sarah's relentless pursuit for the truth threatened everyone. Did she survive in the end? That's a question the film answers with suspense and emotional intensity.